watching It's Your Money with Pat Barrett from Tafoya Barrett and Associates, and I'm Deborah Uroda, Durango TV news producer. You know, we have a really interesting topic today, and that's about financial strategies that seem to be a good idea, but they also have some pitfalls associated with this. And so I wanted to talk first about home purchases. I've always heard that what you do is you buy the most home you can for what you can afford. Is that a good idea or not?
It can be, Deb, but probably a better approach is to really take a close, hard look at your budget before you decide how much home to buy, and make sure that the mortgage payment that you're going to take on is something that's comfortable and fits within your budget. A lot of people just go to the bank, they apply, they find out what they qualify for, and that's what they base the number on. But that could put a lot of strain on your personal budget.
What about refinancing your home to pay off, credit card debt?
Yeah, getting a home equity loan to pay off credit card debt, does make a lot of sense on the face value. Obviously, credit card debt, the interest on it, generally speaking, is not tax deductible, and the interest rates tend to run a little bit higher. On home equity indebtedness, the first $100,000 of debt is, regardless of what you use it for, the interest on that is generally speaking tax deductible. And then also the home equity line of credits tend to carry a lower interest rate. However, the danger is for some people who don't have the discipline, they borrow against their home, pay off their credit card, and then as time goes by, they run up the credit cards again. And so now they've taken equity out of their home, but haven't really increased their financial position at all.
When we bought my new car a couple of years ago, we borrowed from our 401k plan, and it was really handy. We were able to pay it back very quickly, but that way we didn't have to go to the bank, and we were able to finance at 0% through the car dealership, and so it made a lot of sense to us. What's the pitfalls?
One of the pitfalls that you have to be careful of, and it sounds like the way you guys approached it was the right way to go. You want to make sure that if you do borrow money against your 401k, that you do get it paid back as quickly as possible. One of the biggest pitfalls that you could run into is that if for some reason you were to have to change jobs and you still had an outstanding balance on that 401k loan, that loan effectively becomes due and payable immediately. And if you don't have the resources to pay back that debt, any outstanding balance is treated as a taxable distribution.
Is there a certain percentage you should limit yourself to if you do have to tap into a 401k to borrow money?
There's no written rule, but I think, playing it safe would be maybe 10% might be okay, 20 you're probably starting to push it, because again, that really is your retirement nest egg that you're trying to build over time.
And I have some friends who were able to get an early start on a house because their grandparents and their parents had put money aside for them in a trust, that so when they got to a certain age they could take that money out and use it. Is that a good idea?
It can be. In some situations that makes a lot of sense. Basically what you're able to do is take the earnings that are being generated from those investments and moving them out of the higher tax bracket of mom and dad or grandma and grandpa down into junior's tax bracket. One point in time when it can creep up on you and backfire is when you're applying for student aid for college education, because the expected family contribution formulas that the government uses, they look at the student's assets and they weigh in 20% of those assets as being available to pay for college education, whereas with the parents' assets, they only weigh in 5.6%. A good approach, with that expected family contribution formula, they don't take retirement assets into account. So one good approach would be to perhaps have Junior go out and find a job, or if mom and dad happen to own a small business, have Junior go to work for mom and dad, pay them a wage, have them generate some earned income, and then you can still gift the money to them that you would be transferring, but have them go ahead and take that money and make retirement plan contributions up to the maximum amount. That way, Junior's not paying any tax at all on that income. If mom and dad happen to own the business that's paying that earned income, they're getting a tax deduction for it. And then come college time, those retirement funds aren't taken into consideration, so you're maximizing that strategy.
And they have a retirement fund started, which is really important. You can't start too early to start saving for life. Is that true?
That is also true for retirement. The more time you have to let that money grow and the compounding of interest, it can really magnify what's available for that individual upon retirement, 50, 60 years out.
Yeah, so that's one really good piece of financial advice that we all should take into account. And that's it for this week's It's Your Money with Pat Barrett. Thank you very much. And if people want to know more about the pros and cons of different financial strategies, all they need to do is give you a call or go to your website at tafoyabarrettandassociates.com.
That's correct.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deb.